If you like take that in, you are breathing in God, the universe, and you're like, whoa, that's what it feels like to be full.
But is there a certain type of person that you see who is just like consistently like shallow breathing, like never really gets that full deep belly breath? Is there like a certain type of person, whether, and I suppose kind of interpret that however you want, but do you see like a specific person where it's like, they're gonna be a chest breather for sure?
I'll see. I'd love to hear what you say.
That's definitely a hard question. I don't want to like generalize and say, but I would say, I don't know, ones that may have like a lot of anxiety, stress, depression, or just like not have a lot of like self-regulating skill. I think a lot of times that reinforces that, this very shallow costal breathing where it's like straining the musculature of the body constantly to, create that space in the lungs. Like that's stress. That's mechanical stress. And so I think that compounded, the lungs are very much like a center for anxiety. That's where we store a lot of anxious emotion. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't mean to generalize,
It's not, I'll kind of swing back to why I'm asking, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, and also mechanically, people who are mouth breathers, stress, also the lungs, the body tells a story everywhere in the body. The lungs are known to where grief is stored. So anybody who has experienced grief or is unwilling to tap into their grief or befriend their grief, like, oh, too scary, too sensitive, I can't breathe there. So just, okay, I can live from here. Because if I go down there, I might feel if I take in so much. So there's that. And then I'm not so much, but yes, stress, anxiety, trauma, and then sometimes we can be afraid. What is the saying? Something about like we're afraid of our own greatness, our own light. Mm-hmm. So in yoga, the word for breath is pranayama, and it's that life force energy, right? And if you like take that in, you are breathing in God, the universe, and you're like, whoa, that's what it feels like to be full. And then that can trigger this response of, I don't deserve it, as I'm not enough. Who am I to fill up? So it can trigger so much other than mechanical grief, but your enoughness. And then there's body types who move through yoga and life differently. With Ayurveda, we take the 5 elements and we condense them basically to 3, and then we give them funny names: Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. Okay, so they're these like your soul body type, and so they manifest differently. So Pitta is they're fiery people, and they're passionate, but if you're out of balance, usually you're inflamed. And then finding the yoga that is right for your Pitta people, your Vata. So a lot of Pitta people, they're your go-getters, but usually they have digestive system because they're so hot. They run hot. And they love to do hot yoga and they like to sweat. But that takes them even like hotter, gotta go. They're the ones who leave Shavasana typically. But to balance out their fire.
Say that one more time. Who do what?
Leave Shavasana.
Yeah.
Clarify
they're
what
like,
that means.
I'm out.
If I don't understand it, they
go.
definitely don't.
Like at the end
Oh,
of the
okay,
class,
great.
they're like, I'm done.
Oh, who leave Shavasana?
Right.
Got you. Like who?
Leave it. They're like, I have to go do more important things.
Right.
To balance them out, typically we give them a nice restorative class. Pitta people hate it because they're not moving and producing. And then the Kapha people, their body soul types, they're the Mother Earth, they're nurturing. Their body manifests a little bit heavier and curvier. And what they need is that pick me up and go. They're the ones who, so for at the gym, like, yeah, I'll just sit in the back row and watch and I'll take care of everybody. But they need a little bit more fire and a little bit more get up and go. And then there's the Vata people, who are, they're air and ether. They're our dreamers. They're connected to spirit. We have a tough time bringing them down to earth. So we need to ground them. And a lot of that's done through diet and down poses that are like in the earth. And I know your question was mostly on breath, but we talk about the whole body, their whole soul, how they're manifesting, and all is related to their breath. Right. So it's taking in so many aspects of them.
I like that. Yeah. So something that I think you and I talked about the very, very first time we talked was how often like Eastern and Western thought will kind of reach a similar conclusion in a completely different way. And this is kind of what I was talking about with like the breath is there's like two kinds, because I go through the same kind of assessment with every single client, and without fail, there's like a male type and a female type that I'll see where they have that really, really limited breathing. And it's usually guys that are super fucking angry, guys who are just mad and pissed off at everything. And like, everybody's an asshole except for them basically. And then there is the more quiet, reserved, like female. It's like, those are the two kinds of people that I always see, they can't take a full breath to save their life. And then it's like, when they finally do, it's probably like the very first time that you ever did it, where it's just like, you really get that full breath and you're just like, oh my God, like, it finally hits them. But even the pitta, the vata, and the one more kapha, even that kind of stuff, the clients who are pitta is the fiery one. Mm-hmm. The clients that I've had who are super pitta, to use your terminology, like that's the client where they're, working out 3 days a week with me, 1 day a week on their own, and then they're going and doing like, some Orange Theory class, and they're the one who's always like at number one, and they're the one who's like sweating more than anybody else. And then, they wake up at 4 a.m. and they want to go do some sprints, and it's like, holy shit, dude, like you need to slow down. You need to calm down. You need to, take a breath and like chill out. It's just craziness to me. That kind of connection where it feels like East meets West.